Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome to Flyover State of Film. Before we begin this episode, and we're going to have a lot of fun today, but we would like to address what is going on in the world and saying that we do support Black Lives Matter and the protests and give our condolences and thoughts around the country and the world. And instead of going right into the news, we are going to have a bit of fun with this. We're going to actually do a pitch based off the riots and the Black Lives Matter protests and the things, just to start off the episode. But before this, if any of you guys want to add anything, I have Brian, TJ, and Yusuf with me.
Hey guys, I missed you.
I'm going to crack this.
Yeah, there's nothing more to say that hasn't been said on Twitter by a million other people.
Donate if you can.
Yeah, donate, help out, support. And the best thing, especially if you're older white person with older parents like me, is just like inform them when they ask you questions. Just talk to them and tell them and try to, good God, try to help.
And leave
Try
your
to not
black
have a
friends
screaming
alone.
argument.
Yeah, exactly. Leave your black friends alone. Don't hover around them. They're dealing with enough too. Blah blah blah. You've heard all this before. And yeah, we're not trying to make fun of the situation. We just know that Hollywood eventually will try to capitalize. Like they're gonna cash in. They can't help themselves. They're terrible people. So we just wanted to like propose some bad ideas. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys have good ideas. I just can't imagine a way to do this that wouldn't be crass and horrific. Like a documentary is the only way to cover this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, there's going to be plenty of footage, and in 20 years, Ken Burns, or actually, you know what? How about a black guy? Can we not do Ken Burns, actually?
I think we're going to have
a filmmaker
This
who wants
is
to do
gonna
a great
be-
documentary.
I think there's going to be at least one like good like Fruit Valve Station type movie, like small day in the life story, still very pandering-y, but that'll come out of this. But
this is gonna be
major
Netflix.
Hollywood is going to be like, Mark Wahlberg, how can you save the day?
Yeah. So they're gonna do it. They're gonna place it in Boston just to reuse all the shit that they had for their Boston Marathon movie that they did.
Yeah, that was hard to
So-
watch.
Remember when they did 2 9/11 movies? God, we are going to get some. We are gonna get
we
about
are
this,
gonna
aren't
get
we?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Nick Cage was in one, and it's
He's
still
gonna
not
probably
good.
get another one.
We were already making fun of them making pandemic movies, like based on people writing shitty coronavirus scripts, and now this like it's just gonna get so much worse. And there's so many platforms for this content to come out.
Oh yeah.
there's gonna be a Netflix show called BLM.
It's just gonna be discussions about
No, it'll be
Black
shown
Lives Matter
AMC.
in a barbershop.
It'll be shown AMC like BLM-ish.
Yeah. Oh God.
So what are the things that you know for sure Hollywood is gonna put in this Mark Wahlberg police-led movie? He's gonna be a policeman for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a white director. Right off the bat.
He's gonna have a black wife and
one
a half,
black writer.
Yeah, okay,
and it's gonna have a mixed daughter that's gonna be very cool.
Okay, here.
It's gonna have Bill
she'll be
Burr
like
in it.
ultra, she's gonna be always, and he won't be the worst of the cops, but he'll be bad enough that he needs an arc, he needs to come back from something.
What if we did this? What if we flipped it on its head, right? We'll post this, we'll make it like in the future, but instead of like races, we'll use mystical creatures. So for like black people and people of color, we'll make them orcs, but we'll make them really like
TJ, this is your Star Wars.
Honestly, why hasn't Star Wars made a statement yet?
And one of the orcs is going to be in the center of the brutality. So it's going to be like, oh my god, the gray area is not all the people are doing it. The
Not
orcs
all,
are
hashtag
also-
not all orcs. Orc
Yeah.
lives matter.
Fairy-
There's so many
fairies
matter.
lives matter. Fairy lives
And
matter.
then there's gonna be like trolls in there, but they're gonna kind of be like the mixed area where they're kind of good. There's a lot of them on the police force.
I think Mark Wahlberg is going to have a dog partner because they want to make it light.
Gonna bring back the dog partner.
No,
Yeah,
see,
the dog
I don't
partner.
think Mark Wahlberg. I think Mark Wahlberg has a ambiguous like ethnic wife, but his best friend growing up is
The Rock.
black.
No, I think his partner. It's his partner is
No,
like a
it's the
younger
twist.
black man
That's the twist.
who's
I
like
say we go with Yusef's idea and have the
around the
dog be voiced by
force.
Kevin Hart.
Oh, Kevin Hart's going to be in it.
you make Kevin Hart the captain though.
Oh yeah.
the wacky he's comic relief captain.
And Bill Burr's the racist cop that needs to get taught a lesson. But the reality is Bill Burr's the only one in the actual cast that's married to a person of color, and daughter is.
Got to cast
So
Pete
he,
Davidson.
so he can play that character because he's from
For
Boston.
sure, there's gonna be a scene where like Mark Wahlberg is just like giving into the situation. He's just whacking away at protesters, and then he raises his hand, and it's his daughter on the floor, and it's gonna be like, oh my god, what am I?
Mary
Like,
Lou, you came out to the streets.
Mary Lou, I told you to stay home.
But the night before that,
Somehow
she
the
disobeyed him, and he
protesters
follows through.
somehow the protesters like subvert the cops in a really like spectacular way that nobody saw coming, and then you find out that Mark Wahlberg's young partner has been seeing the daughter and is helping them and is like telling her the cop tactics, and that's like helping. So
It
he's
sounds
like
like-
an inside
and
man
we're
and
gonna
shit.
It sounds like
We're
Lethal
gonna get
Weapon
all-
4.
We're gonna get all
Chris
the
Rock
news.
sleeping with Danny Glover's
I am
daughter.
just ripping off Lethal Weapon.
We're gonna get all the news and political references like through the TV. So you'll hear like Kaepernick and kneeling on the TV, but no one actually gonna have a discussion about it. Same with like Trump stuff. Like it'll all just be on the background on
It's,
the top.
it's just presented without comment. Like
Yeah.
here's the thing.
just like in the background.
Yeah.
Like he's putting butter on his toast, and the TV's just going off in the background. Can we have a side plot of a 75-year-old spy trying to insert himself into the police and just erase their
No,
scanners?
the
Nick Cage.
daughter has a mentor, right? Like there's like a top of the food chain protester guy, and she has to go through these like back channels and do these like secret handshakes with homeless encampments and stuff. It's like the John Wick shit. It's like that world. And then when she comes upon the dude who's like the mentor, the mech, the brain behind it all, it's
Well,
a tall, skinny 75-year-old man
75-year-old
who is easily shattered when he falls to the ground. His bones.
Well, hear me out. Hear me out. It's very reminiscent of Alyssa Milano's side plot in like Double Dragon, where her dad's a cop, and to get out of the house, she's clearly wearing a wig and like a trench coat because she has to hide her like protest
Colors, yeah.
Yeah.
Colors.
And
Well, she's a woke queen, right? So if anybody on Twitter knows, we all know Alyssa Milano is a place to go to get your 100% just on the money liberal bullshit. So she'd probably be all over being part of this movie. She'd
So
I think
so
the
what is
wife, Zoe
what is the
Saldana.
end though? What is the end though? Like, are the cops just kneeling, like in favor of the protesters, and racism ends as soon as they kneel?
What if they're
And
looking
then-
for like a MacGuffin, like a crystal
No.
skull?
Oh,
Well, man,
yes.
I think they
Like
kneel-
racism is the source.
It
Peter
turns
Berg-
out racism is caused by a gem, and they have to
Peter
find
Berg-
it.
Peter Berg's directing it. I don't think we got that clear.
Ooh, I was gonna say a
The
throw
one good
between
thing about
him
Peter Berg is there'll be real explosions, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
No, well,
him,
the
Bay or
ending.
Air.
the ending's gonna be a
I
lot
prefer
like
Peter Berg, the actor,
yeah.
personally. Okay.
The ending's gonna be a lot like the good movie Black Klansman. We're gonna see a lot of live footage from the real stuff,
Yeah.
but they're just gonna show all the like the hugging and kneeling and being like, "This is what the media didn't show you."
Those fake Black Panthers who like linked up with the cops and stuff, all
Yeah.
that like COINTELPRO shit that you saw in Atlanta. That's what'll be on there.
Yeah,
Peter
that's
Berg did direct Battleship, so
Peter
He directed
Berg.
The Rundown, so respect.
I have nothing against Peter Berg. I just mean that's Mark Wahlberg's go-to guy. Listen, I do. If they do get a person of color to direct, if we are being progressive, it's
Black,
going
say
to
black.
be. Listen.
Come on, man. Say black.
Say it. Black. It's going to be
spit it out.
shit. The guy who made that one bad Fast and Furious movie.
Geez, now you got me all stuttering.
Yeah.
I don't watch any
Alright.
Fast and Furious movies. Cut this all out. Cut this
Wait,
thing about
like
the black director out. Let's move on to the next thing, guys.
No, wrap it up.
So that's a bad movie we just pitched.
Yeah, Steve
but-
McQueen, maybe?
Oh yeah, sure. He's gonna direct that for sure. What the fuck are we saying? Oh yeah. So we
Joe
wanted
gave
to
everyone the
actually
Jordan Peele will write this movie.
Yeah, no, Max Landis gonna write it. So we're gonna do
I'm so sorry.
um,
All right, guys,
gonna-
that's the episode. Have a good time. Find me
Goodbye,
at
guys.
one.
Oh, I'm glad we could do the right thing here. This feels
This
smart
feels
and
good.
good.
Don't you guys feel great? Listen, I want to sow the seeds of our trivia show, so I've invited an 85-year-old man and an up-and-coming director named Yusuf. Could you guys just hash it out on our show?
My God.
Content, baby!
So how about we segue the fuck out of this, and we talk about movies that
Trivia? That
not-
was a struggle?
not necessarily taught you a lesson, but showcased a struggle. Like we were making fun of the struggle that Hollywood would probably depict on the movie, but a movie that you saw and you were like, "Oh fuck, that actually connected," and maybe you researched afterwards or you learned something from that movie. So good movies in Hollywood. How about you, Brian? Where did you land on this topic?
Oh man, I had so many picks. The Last Samurai, Dances with Wolves, Avatar, Dangerous Minds. There's just so many like great movies here. But no, I'll tell you what, the last Spielberg movie I watched was Lincoln. And I really liked Lincoln a lot. And that's a movie, it's one of those, like, it's not a biopic in the way it doesn't, like, go through his whole life. It takes a small part of his life and focuses very specifically. And it's, like, all about him trying to get the 13th Amendment passed and kind of, like, you get to see him kind of, like, finagling behind the scenes. You get to see the legendary, Honest Abe, straight arrow, but he's also, he's playing it fast and loose and he's tricking people and he's lying when he has to. And he's like, doing, and it's, it was just a very interesting one. And it was something that I didn't know much about.
Yeah.
And it's really good. I like that one.
I had no idea that he hunted vampires. That's my mind. I was like,
That part blew my mind. First of
Yeah.
all, I was like, Rufus Sewell is in this?
and then you figure out like they're running the Confederate side, and you're just like, what is happening here? That shit was
Yeah, it
wild.
was wild, but they don't want you
Lincoln's-
to know that in the history books, my dude. But yeah, I really did like the Mary Todd and Lincoln aspect of that story, like
She won an
their
Oscar.
relationship. It's very good.
You
Did
know,
Sally Field get the Oscar that year?
yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis actually was president for a year and
Yeah,
did full-on blackface as Obama for a year and did all of our
In
legislation.
preparation for the role.
Yeah.
He's an artist, man.
But no, Lincoln's great. It's it's a
Respect the
stage.
process.
You're watching a stage play. It's one of the few movies where you're like, that's straight up a stage play, and it translated well.
I've never seen it.
it's you won't like it. But
It's a nice
what
history
did you
lesson.
like, TJ?
Oh, okay. So this movie is like one of those ones where it's just like, obviously, I'm a privileged white kid. I grew up in suburbia. very easy childhood, even though you go through like the stupid ass, struggles a kid would, little fights in the yard, getting dumped by a girl. City of God was a movie that I saw that completely blew my mind. Because I mean, I wasn't ignorant. I knew things outside of the U.S. weren't great, or compared to what we have luckily been given. But like seeing that stuff and like watching kids have to kill kids, but they're like 5-year-olds have it like those type of struggles, and seeing it between two friends where one's going to a good side and one actually goes to the wrong side of the law and stuff like that. It just kind of opened your eyes and you look into it more. Especially, I think I saw it at like 15 or 16. So you dive into that and you fall into like a rabbit hole, learn about kids in different countries and like the struggles they went through. Then you go into like learning about South Africa and stuff like that, and then North Africa and India and just the whole struggles. It's probably one of those things that most young kids just see very young, even though it's incredibly violent.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutally, but it's like one of those things to where like you're not going to get a history lesson like that in school. There's no way someone's going to teach you that. So sit down, watch the movie at an appropriate age, which I think 14, 15, as rough as it could be, is smart to show kids, especially kids like me who had it pretty easy growing up.
Oh, that was on my short list for this question too.
I've never seen it. I gotta check it out.
It's one of those movies, man. It's gut wrenching, but it's incredibly well shot.
Oh, it's a beautiful story. It's a beautifully made movie.
I remember,
100%.
I remember that movie making, like, in 2010, making almost every critic's #1 movie of the decade.
They made a sequel of it, I believe, called like just almost along the lines of the same name. Didn't really hit as much, but yeah, if you get the shot, please, watch City of God.
All right, we'll do.
How about you, Joe? What do you want me to watch?
Okay. I mean, like, listen, the classics, Sully, Captain Phillips. Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah.
That movie is tragic, and it's actually have a kind of funny story. Like, especially something that affected you about it is so I was in 7th grade when that movie came out, I believe, and we would just see whatever. It didn't matter, any trailer, like me and my buddy would just go. And I remember it was like kind of when like first started like trying to like date girls and whatnot. And the girl like went to the movies to like spite us, and it was Hotel Rwanda, and we were like sitting rows apart. I remember being like so like emotionally like into the movie and like, holy fuck, this is not the movie to pick for any of this of us as 7th graders going to.
Yeah.
And this and that. But actually, like, paying attention to the movie and learning and not just wanting to be there to hang out with the girl.
The girl was, like, openly weeping. She's like...
Well, she was, like, I think we were
sobbing,
and she was,
traumatized
like,
forever. Like,
yeah. And, like...
she never dated again.
Just that story of, like...
She joined the Peace Corps the next day, and she moved to Rwanda.
Just that story of, like, I'm going to mess up the Hootsies and the Tutus. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
Come on.
What? That's anyway. It was just. I thought it was just a very powerful film. And,
no, it is, and it's also like even the movie itself is like sanitized and
I'm sure the reality is always worse.
Yeah, the violence is like obviously it's shocking when you watch it in the movie, but once you like actually research it, and I think there's a couple of documentaries. I've only seen clips on YouTube, and you're like just like utterly shocked at
I remember I had gone home and I had read some old Rolling Stone articles about it from 2000. I mean, from like 92 or so after seeing that. So that would be my #1 of just like most that like really gives you a different perspective. That's not just like not trying to tell you a fully glossed over movie. And my opinion, like it. It would be a documentary if it could.
Did that won an Oscar, didn't it?
It was nominated. It was nominated.
It was like,
I think Don Cheadle was nominated for sure.
Yeah, I was like Don Cheadle was.
Yeah, he was
killed it.
Fantastic.
So
what do you?
He could have probably just put on his like robot suit and saved that hotel.
Yeah, save everybody, man. Fucking.
Well, guys, this is actually why I want to tell you we should retroactively give Black Panther an Oscar.
Makes sense. So woke, bro.
I did my time.
I don't know if anybody knows. Probably have never revealed this in the 2 years that we've been doing this, or a year and a half. I'm from Puerto Rico, so
Oh my god.
What?
I'm not actually white.
What? I
And
gotta go. I gotta quit the podcast now.
yeah. So
Well, Salt.
it was kind of hard to pick what movies like open doors for me because being in an island, like pretty much all movies open doors for me. But to
Yusef's like
keep it,
Phoebe on Friends, where every time you're having a conversation, she's like, "Well, at one time my village totally burned to the ground." It's like, Jesus,
yeah.
dude, God.
So no village has burned to the ground so far. But the
Don't
one,
say that, you white devil.
yeah, the one that shocked me, because obviously, like I grew up like TJ says, like privileged life in terms of like I could be with anybody, love anybody. And my wife is of darker skin, but obviously we're Latinos, so it doesn't matter. But here in the States, if you were a white person and you loved a black person, it was considered illegal and you could go to jail, and a lot of people were murdered because of it. Um, so 2016's Loving is
Yeah.
a movie about the couple that actually
Yeah.
brought down the illegal laws that persecuted interracial couples. It's the movie itself is great. It's not bad. Ruth is amazing as the
Nigga?
Yeah.
She's so good.
and Jail Edgerton.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Joel
solid.
Edgerton?
What Joel?
Yeah,
It's
it's
solid as well. But that led me to a couple documentaries that they did on the actual couple, and they have like footage of the couple, and they
wow.
interview them, and they talk about all their experiences, like how people would come to their houses at 3 or 4 a.m. and just try to break their doors and kill them, pretty much.
Yeah, they got ripped out of bed in the middle of the night and arrested
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
that
So
movie is
yeah, that movie's fucking great.
that movie's directed by my pick of one of the I think the most underrated director working, Jeff Nichols.
Yeah.
yeah,
Midnight
yeah.
Special.
Yeah,
and,
it's so like
Special.
not in.
Oh yeah,
his-
Take Shelter. I like Take Shelter
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I wasn't as hot on Midnight Special as everybody else. I mean, I thought it was good, but it's one of those ones that it got a lot of hype, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said that's a great pick, and then also those documentaries you're talking about. I think Hulu has the Loving. HBO or Hulu put out.
Yeah,
the
it's
Loving
HBO.
doc.
I'll
HBO.
always
thing.
recommend a doc. If there's a doc available
Oh,
about a
for sure.
subject
Go-
and you can
go
find
doc.
it, I'll always recommend that over a
Yeah.
movie every time.
Yeah, I mean, what's
For
the
sure.
so?
Lord knows I
I,
love come on.
I do.
But-
Yeah, I do think there's so many movies out there, even some that probably have even like certain problematic things in it or characters that do lead you to a lot to teach you a lot.
Yeah.
Like this has nothing to do with like progressiveness or anything. Like I remember I learned so much after I saw Walk the Line, just about Johnny Cash himself. Like I did a lot of like
Yeah.
reading and research. Like, but the movie led me to being like, oh, this is an interesting cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's why kind of I opened my answer with that is because coming from a different culture, I knew America through Hollywood. Obviously, it's a harsher and far more dirty reality living in it right now. But yeah, Back to the Future was my America when I was growing up. So how about we jump off this seriousness bullshit and we talk about funny shit and
Well, Brian, do you have a any genre? Well, we're talking about shit we like. Anything of genre we don't like?
Yeah,
Something
absolutely. That was
recommend
what I was
from
going to do. I was going to talk
genres?
about that.
Segues, guys. My
That's
episode.
great. We're
Segue.
really good at them. I think we're getting better. No, I just wanted to. We kind of almost did it 2 in a row now. It's because our first question ended up being kind of what I would consider a recommendation round. But we're kind of doing that here too. But I wanted to push us. Everybody's got a genre of film they're less familiar or less they just don't care about as much. So I thought if you
Doesn't
could
tickle your pickle.
right, it's just not you don't dislike it, but you don't go out of your way to see them, and then people are always recommending them, and you're just never gonna watch it. You know what I'm talking about. And for me personally, I would say my least favorite is like rom-coms. I just don't get into them. Whatever, it's fine. It's boring.
This
But
is a man. man's world.
But my question to the fellas was, what's a movie you would recommend from your least favorite genre? You know, you got what's the cream of the crop to you? And I'll go ahead and start. Take my medicine. Um, I wanted to recommend, cliche ones, I guess, would be like The Wedding Singer is a pretty good rom com for me.
Incredible.
Never Been Kissed might be a secret. I might have even mentioned that on the show before.
So good.
I'm not gonna lie that it doesn't hurt when the guy pelts her with eggs from the limo, but the movie is pretty decent. But the one I wanted to showcase
So you're
for
just
today,
saying you're just saying that you like Drew Barrymore. That's basically what you're saying. In your
I do not want to go on the record as saying that actually.
Oh, okay.
But I would like to recommend a movie, John Candy movie called Only the Lonely.
I'm actually
Basically, John Candy plays a older, John Candy aged man who still lives with his mother and has kind of been single. His mother's very overbearing Irish mother, and it's a love story about him meeting a girl. She's like a very shy. She's a mortician, and he's a cop. Sorry, this is a cop movie, guys. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, but all cops are bad. But movie John Candy Cop is still lovable, okay, guys?
Brian, I have a question about your rom-com not liking this. Do you define a movie like 2 years ago's like Long Shot as a rom-com? Like, would you not give something like that a shot, or is that more of like?
Oh yeah, well I didn't want to see that because it just looked bad to me.
Oh, okay. Well, it was really funny.
Okay,
But
I know you liked it. A lot of people did, but I was all
Going
like,
on 30 is a great movie.
I like Long Shot.
What about along the
House.
lines of a chubby guy and a love story, and he's wearing a uniform? Paul Blart Mall Cop.
I don't hate that movie. I resign from the podcast.
If I'm gonna watch a Kevin James movie, I'll finally go watch Here Comes the Boom.
That was good too.
Oh wow.
And I use good lightly.
I just watch Grown Ups.
Wait, so we're talking about
that either.
We're talking about the only good cop outside of Steve Guttenberg, John Candy. What the fuck is this movie? I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Never heard of Only the Lonely? Well, like I said, it's
it
basically about him. He meets a girl and he wants to get involved with her, but his mom is, his overbearing mom, and his relationship with her is getting in the way, and he has to kind of have it out with her. And
is the mom anybody famous, or is just a mom?
Yes, the mom is somebody famous, and I'll be embarrassed that I can't remember her name. If my wife were here, she would tell us. But give me a second, I'll look it up. The mom also has like an Italian neighbor guy who's into her, so there's like a little side.
Moonstruck.
She's very racist to
Moonstruck.
him.
Yeah, most Irish mothers are.
It's from 1991. The mom is Maureen O'Hara.
Okay, cool.
She's obviously an older actress. Miracle on 34th Street, The Quiet Man. She's Irish. She plays very Irish in this. And then Ali Sheedy is the love interest, the girl who works at the mortuary. But anyway, Ali Sheedy. Kevin Dunn's in it. You guys know Kevin Dunn. Come on, he's the dad in Transformers.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Anyway, that's my rom-com I would recommend to you guys. It's heartwarming. It's also a good
And the dad in Small Soldiers.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is, isn't he? Anyway, Only the Lonely. So who wants to go? TJ, you got something for us?
God damn it. You guys know I don't like good movies, but I didn't pick good movies. This is too broad. I'll tell you one type of movie I don't like that I get sick of. I think Brian kind of backs me up on this one a little bit. Overdone. I mean, how many times are we going to do this? But war movies, any type of fucking war movie, World War II.
I'm very selective in the war movies I bother to watch.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You watch Stop Loss all the time.
I've never even heard of that. I'm too busy watching all the Jarhead sequels.
I can't even bullshit you. I saw Stop Loss because it's like a perfect movie to watch with a girlfriend or a girl you just started dating, because nothing but like teen hunks, Ryan Philippe and all those fucks.
Jake, no, not Jake. Sorry, go on.
Jarhead again.
I couldn't tell you the rest of them.
Jarhead.
Yeah. I was gonna pick Jarhead.
Just scored 11.
Yeah, I picked more of like an offhand one just because I have a couple written down. I'll just shoot those off. Three Kings. I mean, a lot of these war movies that I watch are just, I'm not even sure if they're real or based on anything real. Other than I know that's the Gulf War.
Story aspect to it, I think.
Yeah, as much as we give David Ayer shit, Fury is a really good one too.
Yeah, Fury was good. I agree.
Great cast, little small I would say like a small type of a film compared to what it's supposed to be. Um,
Yeah.
Lone Survivor was another one that I'm not a big Mark Wahlberg guy for some reason. I just like what's his name?
You had me and you lost me.
I like
Into
what's
that
his name a lot.
jingoistic shit.
What's his name from Pandorum and Hell or High Water? Ben Foster's in. I love Ben Foster. So anything Ben Foster's in, I kind of
Go watch Alpha Dog if you love Ben Foster.
I love Alpha Dog. But the movie I picked that I would recommend, which I guess is a type of war movie, but I just saw this past year, Overlord.
Oh, yeah.
Overlord.
That's a horror.
It's warish.
Yeah,
It's got a
with it.
Wolfenstein thing.
It's like a great horror movie. It starts as one thing and becomes another thing. It's a
wouldn't
pretty
show-
good war movie
You
first.
wouldn't show it to your boomer dad, and I think that's the genre
No, see,
TJ
I
is more
would.
talking
I
about.
would.
But he did recommend like 3 movies you could show your boomer dad before he
But
said
that's the thing.
Overlord. So
That's
come on.
true.
would.
Okay.
I
Listen,
have a
controversy, content,
I have a
podcast, guys.
stepdad
Come
who
on.
has I have a stepdad who has a very open point of view. And this is a movie that
the abuse signal. Like,
this is the movie that I would show him just to kind of like chill, bond with, even though it's like goofy, but still at the same time it has aspects of a war movie and things that he can attach to. But yeah, Overlord, not a war movie in
despite what
Joe's
Joe
eyes.
said, I like your pick, TJ.
Thanks,
Joe,
bud.
what do you have for us, Mr. Smart Guy?
Hey, bitches. I don't really like musicals. They're all
P.T. Barnum, here we come.
no. They're
Bringing it back.
anyone who's ever been like, you should watch this musical. It's great. Guess what? It never fucking is. I'm always like, why are they singing? Just because it's catchy doesn't mean I want to watch it.
Also, musicals tend to be, especially older ones, are so fucking long. They're like 3
Yes.
hours long.
Yes. I don't care that you're singing in the rain. I'm
I love
sorry, Yusuf.
Grease and
La La
Grease too.
Land, terrible.
I like Grease too, TJ. That's fair.
Thanks,
Grease is
buddy.
fun. There are fun ones. What I picked, which I think is stands out of the exception, and I hate that it was spoiled by its weirdly enough predecessor,
Cabin Boy.
is Cabin Boy was a fun musical-ish. And I don't mind a song in a movie. I want to make that clear. I don't mind a song in a movie. It's Rocket Man. I thought Rocket Man was excellent. I thought it was unique. I thought it told that story so freaking well.
Yeah.
It's like the
And I
story
was-
was the same, but they at least found a cool way to tell
Yes.
it. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
So, and it wasn't a musical biopic. It was a musical.
Sure.
Unlike, like, let's say where I think Rocket Man would have had all those nominations, blah blah blah. If Bohemian Rhapsody didn't exist, Bohemian Rhapsody stunk, and people just like the music of Queen, and they got the two confused. And I'm not going to let that point go. Just because you like the music of someone doesn't mean the movie you put out is good.
100%. Yeah.
I love The Doors. The Doors movie, not great, Bob.
I haven't seen the Doors movie in a very long time. That would be an
It's-
interesting rewatch.
You know what? It's very like palatable.
It's
the
Yusuf's
Doors
next pick.
movie. But
We're
anyway,
watching the Doors.
No, I think Rocket Man, for me, I saw that just recently. I think
Yeah.
it like blew the doors of what you, because again,
The
I know.
Doors. And he did it. He did it again,
Perception.
guys.
it could have went down the normal, him as a kid, him as a teenager.
he's Kim. He's struggling with being gay, and then we're
I
gonna.
mean, they
Dave.
did all that, but
Flipped it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Told
it
it
had
was-
that. They took a fucking extravagant man and made a extravagant movie. Like it made sense. Like
Yeah.
it would have been more flashy than any
But they
other musical.
even got like the love story part of just him and his friendship, like with his
Oh, that kid,
Bruce-
kid gets no love. He played his partner in that
yeah,
movie.
yeah, like the producer, like his lifelong producer, like that
His
was the love story.
It's
of
no
the
love from
movie.
TJ.
Jamie
either.
Bell.
TJ can't remember his name.
Jamie Bell, yeah, they were great. So that's my pick. Like, because there's some genres, like it's like you could say like another one would be like a western, but I do like when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I actually like a lot more westerns
Yeah.
than
I had that too, and I was
On
like, I actually
Reddit,
like these. Yeah.
But like musicals, like I could be like Wizard of Oz, but the reality is I don't watch Wizard of Oz enough to be like, I like the songs. Like, and everyone
You'll get back into it. You have a kid, you'll get back into Wizard of Oz 'cause it's a great kids movie.
Everyone fast forward.
The Sound of Music is very good, but it's too long.
Right, again,
fast
too long.
forwards through the mother singing in the beginning of Willy Wonka.
Mary Poppins, the last one is pretty fun.
Okay, here.
Actually, the new Mary Poppins was good. Both Mary Poppins are good.
Was it?
Yeah, it actually legitimately was.
If you're very into BMX, you'd love it.
I've always wondered. I've had this question for a while. Would you guys? I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I want to hear from each of you. Would you consider Willy Wonka a musical?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay, it's got
At
multiple
least
songs.
like a musical adjacent, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 'cause it's
But
got
you
at least
fast
5
forward
songs.
through the mom doing laundry.
You know, I kind of let it play now. When I was
Charlie.
younger, I used to fast forward it, but sometimes I let it play now.
Yeah. You know, it's surprising for me for that. I did the same thing. It moves. It's like a minute and 20 seconds, like of a song. She just
Yeah,
I've
it's not
watched
a
it
long
a long time.
Yeah, it moves.
I mean, the Johnny Depp.
I'm more mad about Grandpa Joe. Like I feel like because
I
I
think you
hate
tweet
Grandpa
about
Joe
that
so
once
much,
a
I
month.
have to let Charlie's mom have her song. Like at least like it's my job to witness her pain because this shit is fucked up. Like I'd have hand that as soon as that
You know
dude
what?
jumped up, I'd have been like, "Here's your mop, bitch. Get to
I've
work.
been
I'm
on
going
a
to the chocolate
been on a
factory."
tangent. Been on a tangent here. But did like Willie like leave Charlie like all the like the tax payments and like building pay like basically like, all right, well here's all the paperwork, you gotta pay these people. Like man, that
You
kinda
think he paid the
sucks.
Oompa
You know, I think
Loompas?
Willy.
You think he
I
crossed the
read Willy
T's?
Wonka and the Great Glass Elevator. I don't know if you guys did, but
I
I
read
the
the book,
follow
yeah.
book, he does kind of like teach him the workings, and they go to like the island where they kidnap Oompa Loompas from and get some new Oompa Loompas for the
Oh,
They go
slave
to
trade.
they go to
And
space.
yeah, they
Speaking
go
of
to
the slave
space.
trade,
Fucking tight.
Yusuf,
Actually, read
how many slaves
Wonka
have
and the
you
Great Glass
traded?
Elevator. It's a really good book. I fuck with that book.
So
What's-
my pick is fuck horses. I fucking hate horses.
Not a
You
black
don't like
beauty?
movies about horses?
Not a black
Oh,
Shit did
fan?
racing movies. God
That's a
damn it.
really
Dude.
specific genre, but it's weird. There are a lot of movies about
There's
horses.
so many
Oh.
fucking so
So-
many fucking movies.
That's because
about
horse girls exist, guys.
Black Beauty, Seabiscuit,
Seabiscuit, Hidalgo,
Wild Horse.
Lean on Peace.
Isn't Australia also a horse movie? It just doesn't have a
Kinda,
horse
yeah.
name in it.
Never-ending Story.
Yeah. Neverending Story is like the exception though. Like because they kill their horse off in a dramatic way, so it's all right.
That's so fucked up.
Also, I would count True Grit would go the new True Grit when he stabs his horse at the end to get it
Yeah,
to
but
run
that's
fast.
Jesus.
a good western. Anyway, what's your pick,
Sorry.
buddy?
So what's the one horse movie, dude?
I picked Sorry to Bother You.
What the fuck is happening?
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
If you want a great horse movie, Bother You, man, is very timely. Also has a great message, anti-government and anti-capitalist message. But also there's a lot of horses there. So if you're really rock hard for horses for some fucking reason, as
I
Hollywood,
love the idea of the tight braid horse, like late teens horse girl with her North Face fleece on and a bucket of popcorn getting ready to sit down and watch Sorry to Bother You.
Beige leggings.
That's amazing. I love it.
Horsedick.mpeg.
yeah, man, that's it for me. That
That's
was
good
a little
pick.
bit inappropriate.
Message.
Oh yeah. With that being said, hey, I'm TJ. Guys, since the movie that Joe picked this week,
Really lines up with wokeness and politics.
hey ladies, let me tell you a little secret. So I decided to pick comedies that are inappropriate. I mean, they don't really even stand the test of time, but we still fucking love them. I'll go first, just because mine's a pretty broad top 80s. I mean, there's so many 80s movies you could pick. Mine, obviously, with all the sexual harassment and rapiness of them. I still love Revenge of the Nerds. Still love 16 Candles.
Gotta cancel you.
Still love Weird Science.
Fucking cancel, dude.
God damn, you
Can't enjoy that shit anymore. Don't you
I-
understand? That's what being woke means. It means never watching the thing that you already bought. Like the person got the money for it a million years ago, and it's never going to change anything if you
Next
don't
you're
watch
gonna
this
tell
movie
me-
again. But
They're
you
still
gotta
getting
stop watching it.
residuals.
Next, you're gonna tell me you don't like you're canceling. You like Monster Squad.
I God, I love that movie. But I swear to
But
God,
wait,
if Long
but
Duck
out of the
Dong doesn't
ones-
come on screen, I hear a gong. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna not
But
watch.
out of the ones that you said, Revenge of the Nerds is the one that you would die on a hill for.
If no, this is just tough to even. No, I wouldn't die on a hill.
Which
for it.
one would you die on a hill?
You
And
want
what
one that you would die on a hill for, TJ? Come on, man.
16
Lions is-
candles. 16 candles.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree
Not
with
even the
that.
best John Hughes, but all right, whatever.
It's not, but it also has a very like where it has the best on-screen guy, Jake Ryan, but he basically is the biggest piece of shit you'll ever see in life. And then Anthony Michael Hall might have taken advantage of a girl.
Might have.
But the movie we're going to talk about soon does, it kind of went with time. It didn't really stop at all in these type of teen movies. There's even like in Superbad, the whole plot of the movie.
Hey man, how about
sorry.
we save? How about that's my fucking pig, man?
Damn.
So I did some pretty out there.
Yusef,
like the
what's
known 80s
your pick
Yeah.
gonna be?
Yeah. Jeez.
Mine is there's something about Mary.
Oh, that was my list too.
Can we just
Yeah.
make an addendum about Superbad and how it's still great and one of the best
No, I
comedies of
love-
all?
I love
I'm
Super-
actually prepping. I just got Booksmart, and I'm gonna do a double feature, back-to-back Superbad, Booksmart.
Nice.
a
Little
double
Hill
feature.
Feldstein sibling action in my life.
I mean, it's pretty much the same movie-ish, but it's more like Booksmart is more woke.
yeah,
for
a
sure.
little bit, yeah. But I think it still feels real. It doesn't feel like it's trying too hard. You know what I mean?
No.
Like the
Books-
I
movie
love
we,
both.
the movie we were
I love
making earlier.
So tell us about Mary.
There's
Dude,
just something
about
about
Mary. There's something about her, man. What can I say about a Farley?
Mary.
About a Farley? About a Farley movie where there's one of the most famous scenes is I think it's tied, right? It's either the ball sack getting stuck on a zipper and the semen being stuck on the hair.
Yeah, semen in the hair is probably number one. Although I do
But that
gotta
really
say,
canceling
dog
it?
diving out the window, him ducking and the dog flying out the window is like a strong third place for me.
And then it's
But
in
is that
full
is that
cast.
really that inappropriate? I mean, like,
Think
Oh,
about
it's
the
just
movie
raunchy.
itself is super
the plot of the movie
Something
is super
about the plot
inappropriate.
about
the
like
plot
him
of the movie.
stalking her down and like
But they
everybody
ro-
manipulating her and stuff.
They
It's pretty
roast
creepy.
him
Yeah.
for it.
and the private detective just like
What
taking all the advantage of him. Who's the actor? Fuck, I'm forgetting his name.
Kevin,
Matt
Matt
Dillon.
Dillon.
Matt Dillon just fucking taking
What-
advantage of Mary.
No, actors playing mentally handicapped people's always a weird one
yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's got a little bad in it.
No, it's
Um,
very
It's-
offensive.
It's
Okay, this is
It
wrong.
is a
but
solid comedy though. Like
tell you this.
despite all that, you're
Here-
not
I'll tell you
wrong.
this inappropriate scene from that movie that's hard not to crack up at, which it is the part where he's in his office on the crutches and he drops his keys and he won't let her help him and he's like trying all this.
That's
like,
just some excellent physical comedy going on though. It's so hard
So
to be like, I
inappropriate.
can't,
I think the scene stealer of that whole movie every time is Keith David
Oh yeah.
being like, man, I love Woogie. You know, her boyfriend Woogie's in Taken, but he was in Play State. How do you get the beat above the Frank?
and also the old lady tits. How can we forget old lady tits?
Oh,
How about you, Joe?
Oh,
you
Lynn
going with
Shay, the
Comedy
the female-
genius.
yeah, the
Shay.
female Tom Atkins.
Yeah.
So my pick. So guys, I can't help but love inappropriate comedies and like to drop them. Like nothing's truly been like. Can I ever watch that again? To be honest with you, it's just. So my pick is between two. It just came. First one I wrote down was Saving Silverman, and I don't know if there's really anything in there that is. I guess some of like the homophobia in it, and poor treatment of women,
spouse abuse.
spouse
He's about
abuse.
to, this motherfucker's about to say shallow how. Watch.
I said no. The other one's 40-year-old virgin.
Shallow fucking hell! I forgot about that movie.
I mean, Jason Alexander with a tail. Come
With the
on.
tail. Oh.
No, I actually think 40-Year-Old Virgin's a pretty good pick.
40-Year-Old Virgin more so than, you know, it launched this whole like super bad, knocked up, forgetting Sarah Marshall,
The
Judd
Apatow
Apatow.
verse, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still pound for pound just like a hysterical comedy. Like him walking around with the boner calling poison control. It's just like
Oh, and Seth Rogen and him just Paul Rudd.
oh yeah,
and-
you know, I know you macrame a pair of shorts.
Oh yeah, that How I Know You're Gay. It's like,
Yeah.
that homophobia didn't
That's-
age great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
That's
did it.
so inappropriate, and then you're alone in your room, just like.
Yeah.
Oh, the slams are excellent. Doesn't make them right, but
You framed the Asia poster, which actually is a really funny bit in the movie that he is a framed poster of Asia. And then they played Heat of the Moment at the end of the movie. I fucking love that movie.
That's so funny.
There's so many, like, even honestly, it's still funny. There's bad jokes in it. The Hangover still has some really good comedy in it.
yeah, let's leave the Hangover.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the Hangover here in a little bit when we talk about American Pie.
Okay. But I just mean, yeah, and even leading up, American Pie has, you know, is I think appealing. But there is something where I do think they're doing. I wish they were getting more of chances. These type of movies that we're talking about, these like teen sex comedies or bunch of comedies, like Blockers was hysterical.
Yeah,
I never
Blockers,
saw
I've
that.
heard Blockers was good.
Yeah,
Well, I think they did have a revival right after American Pie. American Pie did bring them back.
There's some. We'll talk about the string of.
It's like Neighbors kind of goes in there too, right? Like Neighbors.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah, Neighbors. I would say Neighbors counts.
Neighbors, and I
kind of this
think the
vein.
cool thing with
Old School and all those like came
Yeah,
out
it's
after
super
this.
appropriate.
Oh yeah. Brian, what's your
Euro Trip.
Yep, Euro Trip,
Road
Road
Trip.
Trip. Yeah.
This isn't where I parked my car.
That's
Dude, where's my car?
Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Say It Isn't So.
What?
Oh, that's pre.
This is
That's
terrible.
pre-American.
No, that's right after American Pie. It's Kevin Kline is terrible. Just
Brian,
there's a
what you
Chris
got?
line. Brian,
Oh
what do you
yeah.
have?
Well, I'm old, and so I wanted to
Yeah.
talk real quick about something that I used to see a lot in the teen sex comedies I watched, and then it came back in the American Pie in the '90s, and that's peeping on chicks.
Porky.
It's in Animal House, it's in Porky's, and these are movies that like those were my seminal teen sex comedies. They were out in the early '80s, but by the time I was like in my curious phase, those are the ones I was seeking out. Like when you knew you were going to guarantee to get some boobies in them and stuff. Like that's what I was getting to. And I
Just
actually,
one of the
Brian.
guys.
Brian had a curious face, guys.
and I legitimately enjoy those movies still. There's definitely some
Porky's real?
cringeworthy shit, and the just kind of like it seems like so many movies just it was like it's cute and funny that you want to violate like girls' privacy and like and peep on them when they're changing and stuff, and it just made it really normalized it as far as like that's just
Yeah.
something that you do,
Mhm.
and if a girl catches you, she might be mad, but she might also not be mad. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Also, I think in while you're saying that it's only like from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but like all the way up to like Harlem and Kumar, they have a
That's
scene where
another
they're
great
like
one.
they're like looking at a chick's just taking a dump,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, it's true.
And not another teen movie as well does it.
Not another teen movie is
Well, yeah, but that's a parody
brilliant
movie. They do
parody.
it because it's in other things.
Yeah.
I would say though, of all the comedies that some people, this one, I don't know. I think some people don't think this ages very well. But if there's one that I had to die on a hill for, like I like Animal House and I like Porky's, but if I had to pick a comedy that I would die on a hill for, it would be Caddyshack.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think it's like it doesn't have a lot of really obvious things going on with it.
It
I
just
don't
has
think,
like
but I definitely think that if somebody sat down and watched it with a critical eye, you would find reasons to. Ty Webb is not a great dude. The way he treats women specifically and stuff, and I think there's more to it than that. But like, it doesn't matter. I would go down in flames, I guess, if I had to. Like, I can't just give up Caddyshack.
No.
I mean, yeah, you've been on the record of being like the biggest Bill Murray fan. Tied to being the biggest Jim Carrey
Jim
fan.
Carrey,
So
and then
it's
who was in it earlier
obvious.
too? Oh, Drew Barrymore. Don't forget. If you could
Yeah,
just,
Drew
if
Barrymore,
Hollywood could
yeah.
just do me a favor and put those three actors into a
Well,
movie together,
I mean, Charlie's Angel gets close.
Charlie's Angels gets close.
have
Oh,
you
yes,
seen
right.
a Gentile futile jester from
I've never
Netflix?
heard of that.
So it's
yeah. You've seen it. The
Will
Yeah.
Forte, the Caddyshack
Will
behind the scenes,
Forte.
National
We've
on
talked
National
about it.
Lampoons.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did actually watch that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one about National Lampoon. Yeah, I just forgot. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I rewatched it just recently, and it gives you like a really awesome look on Caddyshack.
Yeah, that was a
behind
good
the
one.
scenes stuff. Yeah.
So you know what, like, really, like snowballed this into, I feel like, for the next, like, 10, 20 years? American Pie.
The people already knew we were going to talk about American Pie, Joe. Your segue
See-
sucks
see-
ass.
But see, Joe, when you do that, when you do a segue, don't pause and wait for our
Just-
reaction.
Just start talking.
Go.
Man, listen, Listen,
You usually
don't
don't
like
do the segue.
Acknowledge
That's-
my
51
segue.
episodes in, and I'm still learning things. I'm just gonna give you guys the synopsis that HBO Max gave.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Pale Ale, band camp, warm apple pie, Stifler's mom. These are just a few unforgettable, undeniably twisted, and utterly hilarious moments from the comedy classic about four horny high school virgins who set their sights on scoring for the first time. Jason Biggs stars in this 1999 hit that the New York Post called absolutely hilarious from beginning to end.
he got top
Did we
bill
watch
like
the same
nobody else.
movie? I don't. Listen, notoriously, every time I've
Wait.
presented comedies on here, I have my tastes are suspect. I'm very particular, but this and The Hangover fall into this category of movie that like were the biggest thing, and I could never get into them. This is probably literally the first time I've seen American Pie since it came out. I never went back to it. I was like, okay, bye, I'm good.
So
Like,
Brian, this for me was how you refer to like Animal House and Porky's.
okay, I got you. And that makes sense timeline wise. I
So
get it. I was
timeline-wise,
already like I was like graduating high school when this movie came out.
Yeah, so like American Pie and American Wedding, never the second one for some reason, were like, cool, we're gonna like we can watch it, we're gonna jerk off
nice.
to be as blunt as possible.
I never jerked off to this movie, but I did watch the entire, even the reunion one. I watched it
I
multiple
just found
times.
the Shannon Elizabeth clip on the internet. I didn't need the movie.
Listen,
but yeah, this was
Internet
kind
history.
of yeah my go-to. But I was like what 12 when this came out, 11.
When I
Get it? You're also fucking young. We get it.
No, this was the perfect movie for me. I was going into high school freshman year in 1999, and it hit perfect. I was 14, going into ninth grade. It just hit for me because this movie and 8 Mile were like the first. You used to be able to
Ooh, 8 Mile.
well, you used to be able to go to a movie theater and like have your dad buy the tickets, give you tickets, and bounce.
Yeah.
These two movies, 8 Mile and American Pie, were the first movies where the parents had to actually like take you into the theater and sit down.
They're like 5 years apart.
Who?
Your
I'm
timeline.
just saying it started it like the way.
Oh,
those
I remember
work.
I remember Jackass being that too.
Yeah, probably like, but like these are the first times where like rated R movies, like you had to have the parent going with you because it was supposedly so insane explicit. But I
Yeah, Brian was taking his first family to see this.
yeah, so I mean, we're all
My
from
secret
different,
family. Shh, keep it cool.
not too far apart, but we're all from different. Brian was a senior, I was a freshman. Yusuf, I'm not too sure how old you were because I don't know your official age.
I think one year less than you.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things where for me it hit. So I loved American Pie, American Pie 2, American Wedding, American.
But it should have hit for me because I was like a senior in high school. But
Yeah.
like
You might, yeah, but you also might. You've already probably. I'm at like just getting to like puberty.
Yeah,
and
you're right. I
maturity.
had already peaked.
I
Thank
You're
you.
will
already like yeah.
I will.
You've
I
already
will
had your warm apple pie, not this guy.
Dude,
I
can
will
we
say
can I
compared
ask that have like if I've touched vaginas, I'll say it out loud.
I'll say it.
Um, um,
Don't
I've
wanna
never
brag.
felt. I've
He
never
said
felt.
vaginas, plural.
I've never felt as if I was touching an apple pie. It feels like if I was touching a vagina and it felt like an apple pie, I would recommend her to go to the doctor because that's probably an STD
Yeah.
situation that's going down, like a yeast
So many-
infection,
so many
probably.
gooey chunks in here. I don't really
That's-
understand.
And he has that like
Why
McDonald's.
do I have
Great.
cinnamon on my fingers?
I
Go
listen.
ahead, Joe.
We should.
Sorry.
Do we need to like recap the plot of American Pie for
Let's get
anybody
on
or
that,
anything?
man.
We can
Yeah,
start by
let's do it.
talking about. If we're gonna talk about the plot at all, we can talk about how their stupid goddamn plan doesn't make any sense, and they point it out in the movie when he's saying it, and then they just go on with it anyway. It's
Oh, but
like
you don't.
we've already been trying to get laid. What is it do? And they don't do anything. It's terrible.
And-
Well, Brian,
One
if
of
you needed
them-
someone to buy condoms for you, I mean, it's a spotter, right? If you need someone to
That
get
is fucking
you
stupid.
to help you watch a TV about flowers, that's a
I mean,
spotter.
I get just to be like, hey, well, let's just try some new ideas, but like putting the whole deadline on it and stuff, it just is dumb and it doesn't make any sense. Like,
Well, it gives the story purpose.
oh yeah, really a
Oh,
sense of tension.
oh,
Yeah,
I would 100% not be friends with that dude. Like the
Which
one
Oz
that's
was the
pushing.
worst fucking person of all
No,
time.
I would be fine with Oz because he's like on his
Yeah.
you talking
corner. But the
about which
one
one?
that
Thomas
Kevin,
Ian
like,
Nicholas.
yeah, he's so pushy.
Also,
And
that
he's
kid's
so
a terrible
in your
actor. How did I never
business.
notice what a bad actor the rookie
He's
of the kid,
terrible,
rookie of the
too.
year kid is? Holy shit!
The best
Oz
He's
part
the
of
worst. When
person-
him and Chris Klein talk to each other in this movie,
Oh my
it's
God.
like legitimately painful to watch.
It's like a
They-
black hole of charisma and energy. You're like, what
It's
the fuck
so
is happening?
when
only
they
thing
they're just like bop, 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 eh, bop, 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 bop.
That's
That's
probably
like-
the best part about these franchises that like throughout all the 4 movies, he tries to have those like moments of a speech and all like, shut the fuck up. We heard it.
Yeah,
We're
his
done.
delivery is always like what?
Hey man, he's in the Schmodown. Show him some respect.
Oh
He's
yeah,
in the
he is. I
Schmodown?
forgot. Yeah. Yeah.
Only there's only one good Chris Klein movie, and that's Election, and that's because he plays an idiot, which he actually is in real
How
life.
come
Yeah.
nobody likes Just Friends? I don't understand.
He's
this.
good in Just Friends.
I like
Dusty,
it's fine, but the fat suit shit is not funny.
okay, man.
But
that
dude,
was the
well,
last topic.
wait,
Ooh,
can I read?
ooh.
Can I read my first note that I
I don't
shared
know,
with
can
you
you?
guys?
Yeah, sure,
I
man.
I masturbated to that channel for sure when I
Oh,
was
you're talking about
Yeah.
the scrambled.
Oh,
His
that was my
scrambled
first
channel comes
note.
in way
But
better
Joe-
than mine
oh,
ever did.
super
Joe,
well.
I have an argument for you. I saw your tweet. There was a time, and I caught it every once in a while, where you got full on audio. No, it was really hard to pick a point. Like there wasn't a moment
my
where it
first
froze on
note.
like a titty, but I've had moments where audio was so clear that that's all I needed. Close your eyes, baby.
Dude,
Okay,
dude,
man.
that
Listen,
one boob. Wait, that one boob that would just go up
I've
your
seen that.
screen,
I've seen
yeah,
that.
I've
Yeah.
seen that.
and you're like, whoa, yeah,
Yeah, this-
that's all I need.
Maurice,
All right, too graphic.
my second note is
Did
these
you do it into
people
a
are
sock?
dirty.
Did you learn that from this movie too?
Oh, I've
Wait,
never
what was
done
the
that to a sock.
What was your second note?
Oh, just these people are so fucking old.
Oh,
Okay,
all the high school. Well,
I don't
I
think
talked
the-
about it in the chat. Tara Reid plays Mrs. Bunny Lebowski the
Yeah.
year before this.
Yes.
Well, actually,
don't
I looked
think-
up. Go ahead, TJ.
I don't think the kid like the casting. Chris Klein's a different story, but I've had kids who look like that in high school. I don't think the casting was bad. I think all of the extras were so fucking bad. Like there was like a dude gray hair at one of the high school
Except
parties.
John
Like
Cho, man. Respect John Cho.
no,
No,
it's
you mean
not John Cho.
age.
He
But
actually
I do think the speaking of that first high school party, like looking like back on it,
Party.
yeah, compared to like what movies like since then showed in parties, it's more realistic where it's not like 150 people at someone's parents' house and they're like I was just like, okay, like I remember going to a similar party compared to like other movies that have like, you know,
Project X isn't real.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's no Project X
But
parties. Hell, even Super Bad is probably a little over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 30-year-old party they go to is pretty accurate.
That's fair.
But the Emma Stone one though.
No, not at all.
But I looked up their ages, and like all of them are in their 18, 19s, and the older oldest is Stifler. He's 24 in this fucking
Oh
movie.
wow, he looks pretty young too.
So I'm wrong.
Oh,
There are
because
fans-
he's rocking at. I wrote this down. He's rocking dress pants, a sweater,
And the
and flip
slippers.
flops.
Oh my
What
god,
the fuck is that look for
that's
school?
the first time I've ever noticed that is watching it like a couple hours ago. I'm like, why is he? And they weren't even like slippers; they were like closed toed to where I only saw
Yeah.
3 of his toes, and I'm like,
What
is?
the fuck is that look?
I had a note about their style too, not Stifler's, and the Hawaiian shirt looks kind of come back around.
Yeah,
It does have
Jenko jeans were in this.
it does
I
have
like
one of,
I like a good Hawaiian shirt. I'm a fat guy. I like a good Hawaiian
it
shirt.
does have one of my favorite, which I thought was a funny joke in that scene. Not the scene before where Jim is talking about like doing his hair, and he's like, "Cool hip Jim or laid back Jim." I always thought that was funny because it doesn't change at all.
Hey,
Oh,
you know what?
dude, what was the budget for hair gel in this
Oh
movie?
wow, yeah. There's a lot.
Oh,
Except Chris Klein. God, Chris Klein's got the worst fucking haircut and the biggest goddamn forehead. It's so his hair is so stupid in this. He has like 2 strands that hang down, but they don't even hang down like in this. They're like way out here on the side.
But he's going for this Frank Sinatra look, man. You didn't
No,
hear
my
that
friends
mentioned
call me
3 times.
Nova, like
He's singing the
Casanova.
song from that McDonald's
Suck
commercial
me
all the
beautiful.
time.
Suck
Sucks.
me, beautiful. God damn it! I had a fucking point on. Okay. You want to know? You know what I didn't like about this fucking movie? I have red hair. All right, it's pretty obvious. I swear to
German.
God,
It
if I
was
didn't hear
realistic.
I wanted that kid to play Upchuck if they made a Daria movie.
I've had to deal with
So
that
much like
bullshit
that.
since Angus because of this kid. He was in the he's in She's All That as a bully for some
Mist.
fucking reason. Yeah, well, he doesn't really count the Mist because he dies fast,
He's
thankfully.
in National Lampoon's Gold Diggers.
Terminator.
Oh, that's also with Eric Matthews from Boy Meets World, I think, too.
Yeah,
Oh my
the movie's not watchable.
Yeah.
On
Fuck
demand
that guy
circa
for years.
2006.
Are you sure?
Oh, but talking about redheads, we do have Natasha in here,
Gorgeous.
repping
Love
repping
Natasha
hard.
Lyonne.
I had one of my
Fucking
first
Icon.
moments. with her.
Alison
so good.
Hannigan.
I think my favorite thing I ever saw on Twitter was somebody was like, "Why haven't they made a remake of Columbo with Natasha Lyonne?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll watch the hell out of that shit." Just her
Dude.
investigating and be like, "One more thing," you know? She got the cigarette out and everything.
Dude,
Oh,
yeah,
so-
no. You said on Twitter that the funniest line was from Allison
Well, her
regarding the
turn,
band camp.
specifically the whole turn of her
Yeah.
character is the one joke that
Yeah.
really works in this
I
movie.
remember
as
my
far as I'm
parents
concerned.
coming home.
That's
from
the thing
movie
that hits
theater
the hardest in
and
the
laughing
whole
at
movie.
that.
Is her
But
turn.
the line, I don't know why. I literally didn't laugh in this movie. Sorry, I just watched it. I was
I'm the same way.
entertained at
It's
times, but
entertaining. It's not.
the only time that no, I'll take it back. Eugene fucking Levy is a gold. He made me laugh,
He can't help it. He's so goddamn
But-
funny to look at, and just the way he acts.
dude. Especially when he's like giving him the Birds and the Beast. I'm still waiting for Brian to give me the Birds and the Beast
Well,
talk.
that's the
I've never
thing about they make fun of Jim's dad. Jim's dad is a great dad.
He's a great dad.
supportive dad. He's
Showing
a
Shake
really
pussy.
open. He's really.
Where they're
really,
just looking at the
nice.
mashed
The
pie.
mom is embarrassing
Hilarious.
the shit out of him, but the dad is like all over it. You know.
He's
They're
hilarious.
just looking at the mashed pie.
Oh,
We'll just tell your mom we ate it.
just say it. But the one line that made me laugh in this movie is Natasha going like, "You've never double clicked your mouse?" Like that just made me laugh. I don't know why, because it's such a perfect image. Like it's just so dead on. But yeah, Eugene Levy for sure is the only shining aspect of this entire series, I would imagine.
Well, they put him in every spin-off too, because
Yeah, he's not even just in the core movies. He's in like the one about the Naked Mile.
Yeah, he shows up to like Stifler's cousins or brothers, like
Yeah.
thing to be
Oh,
like.
it should be. Yeah, I don't know who the casting person here who got Eugene Levy and Jennifer Coolidge in the same movie, but good for them. Like great, good stuff. They were just watching Best in Show and they were like, you know what? I'm putting these people in
Can
my
I
sex
give-
comedy.
Can I give you
Like
guys
this-
some, spoilers real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for future movies, An American Wedding, Jennifer Coolidge, Eugene Levy, knock at the boots.
What happens?
Yeah.
What happens with Jim's mom? Where's she at?
It's
She
actually a
passed.
really emotional moment, but she
She died.
passed cancer in between movies.
Oh, off screen.
Off
Gotcha.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the actress is still alive.
Of
Yeah.
course. They just wanted to have Eugene Levy and Jennifer Coolidge bang. That's why they
Jim.
did that.
Reunions, not.
But it's Eugene Levy in American Wedding, or I'm sorry, American Reunion. That's where he really fucking shines. They give him like a full on like role in that movie.
I
They
mean,
give
they
him
should have.
full
Period. Like
Uh,
Jim, I
Jim's
wanna
dad
talk
should have
about
had his own
masturbation.
spin-off movie.
Well,
Sure.
This is technically
speaking
it.
of just passed recently, if you want to talk about American Wedding, Allison Hannigan's parents are, or dad is,
Donald Trump.
I believe it's, no, not passed, sorry. It's I think it's Fred Willard.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, Fred Willard passed. Yeah,
I
because
believe-
yes,
I believe that's Allison Hannigan's dad, and they play like the uptight, like very
Sure.
conservative
yeah.
parents. Like, they're an entertaining, funny series. They're not making anyone's best.
I think they're bro
This one
movies.
just didn't do much for
Bro
me.
science.
I did want to talk just for a second about Mina Suvari. Isn't it weird
Yes.
that in the same year she played the like prissy uptight girl who ends up banging the guy, but then also played the slutty girl who doesn't bang Kevin Spacey? It's like Hollywood gave her the two roles, and then they were like, "Oh, well, you've kind of done everything. You kind of flip flop both tropes." And now we don't have anything else for you.
But,
Like, sorry, you
But,
I
have
mean,
these two
they
movies.
probably-
Bye.
They probably wanted to offer her like a musical, and then they heard her sing, and was like,
Oh,
"Fuck."
Well,
No.
Brian,
I was like,
But
this,
Brian-
this school doesn't have any black or Puerto Rican people that can help out. Like,
Brian,
That choir is not winning shit. Stick to lacrosse.
I have so many problems with all of that. But the creators duped America again by doing a more serious movie called Loser with Jason Bateman
Hey,
and
I remember
hey,
that. That was like
hey.
the we're gonna parlay Jason
Hey.
Biggs into another
I will-
movie. It came out, everybody hated it, and he didn't do
Nope,
anything until
nope,
fucking Orange is
not
the New
gonna-
Black.
We're not gonna
Saving
do this.
Silverman.
We're not gonna. I will not stand for any loser.
I didn't say it was
fucking hate
bad.
this
I said
podcast.
losers.
No, he did.
Like,
This guy. I'm pointing at him right now.
I
Right
maybe
there.
never saw it. I don't want to. I want to be fair. I maybe never saw it.
It's not.
It's
A
But it's
sad.
like,
You don't
like,
have to watch it. It's
but people
Loser
were taking it.
literally-
It was like that and Saving Silverman, and people were like, "No, sorry, we're not doing Jason Biggs." And then he had to go
Stop,
away.
Jason Big. We
and
don't
then he had
like
to
you.
come back
Go
in Orange
away.
is the New Black.
Loser literally looks like an American Pie spinoff of the cover, but it's a more of a dramedy of its time. Like there's more like an. Anyway, back to the lacrosse singing competition. I have such a problem with Oz being like, it's the lacrosse championship,
Ah.
but I joined this other thing that honestly, like he spent his whole fucking life doing lacrosse, and now he's just gonna bail. No,
Okay,
fuck you.
Hold on. Time out.
No, I have such a
Come on,
problem.
we all
Time
know
out,
a
time
guy
out,
who
time
would
out.
bail on anything for a girl.
Guys. Alpha here. All right.
I feel.
As-
wait, TJ. Before you finish, BJ, I feel he made the right decision because if he would have gone to college, let's say Duke, he probably would have ended up, raping women. Oh, go ahead, TJ.
I don't know how to follow that, but as a former high school athlete, a good former high school athlete, look, man, he didn't say it was a championship. So it was the last game of the season. Central beat them last time. Okay, and also, did you
Still
see?
miss.
Nope. He went up. They went up like 7 goals because of him trying really hard before he left and quit. So he knew what he was doing.
Dude,
Give him a nice lead. All right,
dude,
that's
it's just like who picks their prom date 2 weeks before prom.
I'm just happy that he came back to sing horribly in the
fair.
competition.
They're
believe
so
it,
bad.
man?
Like, I can't believe they definitely did not have them sing before they cast them, right? They were
No,
like, okay,
no.
Dude,
they
there's no
knew the
way.
plot was gonna have singing in them, but they did not bother to test them singing.
All
They're
right.
like, can you take off your shirt? Yeah,
All right.
you're fine. Go ahead,
All right.
come in.
I have a few more notes that I just want to run through. How much of a loser was Casey Affleck that he knew about that book? First off, like that's not a cool thing.
Oh,
Like,
He
how
looks,
about the
and
fact
also
that
like
he
I hate
tested them?
Casey Affleck's look in this movie. He looks like such a tool when they
'Cause
call
he isn't.
him. I was like, well, yeah, but like he really looks like a
Yeah.
tool. in
Like,
this
he
one,
looks
more than-
exactly
more
like
so than
most now.
usual.
Yeah. Anyway.
And fuck,
anyway.
no, dude, and no, sorry, and also fuck you that to unlock the key to the book. It's like, oh, I want to satisfy her too. It's like, all right,
I don't
You
want
can get the book
They
for
do that
sure.
twice with him. They do that twice with him to give him like this, like, because
Right
like
in the second.
Natasha Lyonne's like, you dupe her, just say you love her. He's like, I don't want to dupe her. Then Casey Affleck does the same thing. He's like, I want to return the favor, and he's like, all right, you passed the test. Like, what
And
are all
also,
these tests?
he's like the biggest douche in the world. Oh my god, I have a super hot girlfriend that's telling me I love you. She's giving me head,
Super.
but I'm like super unhappy because I can't fuck her. It's like, dude, what the fuck? This is
Yeah,
like the
doing
lowest.
shit.
Sorry, I can't relate. I'm not.
That's
I'm
why
not
his
angry.
pact
Your
makes no sense
situation.
because he's
Has
guaranteed.
okay? Here's a
that's-
question. For
Yeah,
you.
his pact doesn't make sense. He's on the verge already. He's not.
Yeah.
He's the only one who doesn't have to really
To be
do
honest with
anything.
you,
Except
Jim's the
all
only,
he has to do is be a decent person for like 2 more weeks, and he'll be fine.
Jim's the
We-
only relatable one.
We haven't.
I
talked
like.
about
I
the
told you guys I like Finch's plan. I
Yes.
think Finch's plan of the rumor of the big dick
haven't
or
talked
whatever
about
it is genius. And like, here's why: because if the end game is to just get laid one time, it doesn't matter if that ends with them the rumor being busted and the girl going and being, oh, he didn't have a big dick or whatever, because you achieved. You're gonna go off to college. You're never gonna fucking see
Yeah.
these people again. You know. So as far as like achieving his end goal, I'm not saying it would be the best way to do it, but it's like the most straightforward one that would work as far as I'm
What if-
concerned.
What if he had like a lead pipe down there? Like he was being honest about it.
I was gonna
Like,
ask
he-
you guys. I was gonna ask.
Then again, no backfire. Then
I was
No-
gonna ask
no-
you guys as a fun little game, real fast. We'll leave with that right now. Fun game.
Because one of the rumors came through. He did fuck Stifler's mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Here's the question: out of all 4 of the guys, rank their penis sizes.
Let's say like this.
Okay, I'm gonna say Jim's hung the most, then Finch.
Oh, you're talking about the American Pie? I'm sorry, I was just
Yeah,
sorry.
not
Oh,
us.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
No, come on, Oz. Oz has that big dumb farm guy
It's
who like,
Oz. It's Oz,
Oz,
Jim,
like he has
Yeah,
no
Oz.
brain. He's all dick. Like
Oz,
Oz has a
Jim,
baby arm.
yeah, he
Finch.
looks like a fucking tripod.
Finch,
He
Rookie
can-
of the Year,
slip.
and then Stifler.
No, Finch is, and the thing about Finch's though is it's really thin. It's long and thin.
Yeah.
Fine.
I think Jim's packing.
And Jim's got really long balls.
I'm with him on that one. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of long balls, I think the most
Ball
iconic
balls.
scene of this movie is the webcam, which is a better stream than we have right now.
Oh, yeah,
1999.
that's-
Let's talk about that.
That's what brought up my thing earlier, but like it's even more appalling because he like broadcasts. It's not just the people who were there; he broadcasts it to everyone in the school.
The
And
And
mailing
it's like I think the movie tries to let him off the hook by having him be the one who's most embarrassed. But what
Yeah.
happened?
and
but,
like the internet
No,
was like
it's
taboo.
totally fucked up. It's
No,
horrible.
it's so fucked up. And like the internet was like taboo then.
Yeah, the
You know.
internet was known as mostly for porn then. You know.
Yeah. And she
I
was
will
like-
say that my wife was watching this with me. She hated this movie too. But she was initially she's mad. You know, she's like mad at the like the recording without her permission. But then she just got more mad about how stupid and unrealistic everything else was. About like she just sits around topless and then finds some porn mags and start masturbating. Like
And
when
Blink
somebody's like, I'm
182
gonna
was
change my
watching.
clothes, you don't give them like endless time to change their clothes. You would expect her to be out within like a couple minutes.
That
So
Jim
It was-
ran far to go to his
It
friend's
was
house to
legit.
watch
It
that.
was legit a porn movie setup.
Yeah.
To the point of him like coming in and he's like, and he's like, oh, you're already here.
yeah, it's a porn scene in a regular mainstream movie.
It's like-
and
yeah,
like,
it's
let's say
acted
that-
about that well.
Let's say the internet didn't exist. I think what would have happened was Rookie of the Year would have been his neighbor, their windows would have lined up, and it would have been like Nadia's coming over, I want a bit more of my pee-pee.
I'll run across the street.
Yeah.
And,
But he ran like blocks. That's this time I was
Yeah.
watching him, like you said, someone changes the room. I feel like they'd be like, oh, when's like Jim
yeah, I
gonna
feel
come
like
back?
she would if legitimately she just changed her clothes like a normal human being and didn't act like a weirdo. She
wanted
would
to
be
go
out.
up
She would
with
come out, and he'd still be running to his friend's house. Like, she fully changed. He wouldn't even be to that dude's house yet.
The
Jim-
friends would have seen the boobs and he'd still be running.
Yeah,
There's Blink
Jim-
182 at that one guy's house.
I know.
Yeah.
I love Blink 182 cameo. This movie,
My
this,
whole
This soundtrack's awesome.
Oh, it's incredible.
Oh, when Harvey Danger came on, I was like, "Oh, movie's good now, I guess."
Ladies, Chinese.
you will stay.
Oh,
don't
Did you
go
guys see my tweet
away.
about Andy Signor? Can you put like the picture here of Andy Signor being in the movie?
I saw that.
Okay,
Why
how about
why
the
you gotta
band?
keep invoking his horrible name?
Just,
why?
just put it here.
Why? Bleep that, TJ. Just the Andy.
What is with the band? That band was a really bad choice.
It was a
They
terrible
were like
band.
45-year-olds in a high
They
school band.
ruined they ruined prom, from what I can tell.
You know what it looked like? It looked like what's his name's Aladdin. What's his name? The director. This joke would have been better if I knew the director's name. God damn it.
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, that guy.
Hilarious.
But wait,
Joke landed.
Joke landed.
Insert laughter.
Nailed it.
Slam dunk.
Struck. Boom.
Jim's an idiot because Nadia clearly would have wanted to hook up with him, and if they just spent minutes studying,
She gave him the fuck eyes, I don't know, 4 times before they even set this whole
yeah.
scene
But he was
up.
like, I don't know, guys, let me set up this webcam that doesn't exist in 1999 for every computer.
Well, also, I was going to say about him running. Spec collects in very unfortunate places and times like that. So, I mean, you're not going to want to dive right into with a very beautiful woman after running.
Oh,
Right, you just sprinted across town. You don't want to just instantly jump in bed.
We all know that
he was
18,
wearing
17-year-old
boxers.
that got fake boobs.
I was kind of speaking of sweat. Yeah, that was super fake. I was kind of mad. I mean, when you go back and watch the movie, it's such a sweaty movie, but I think that was an actual choice. Like, because I mean, teens are sweaty. We're all fucking just, unless they just were like, let's shoot all these scenes and not powder anybody's face throughout this entire
Dude,
film.
they spent the entire budget on fucking gel. They're not gonna buy
so much
makeup.
So final thoughts here. John Cho, cool character.
Move, bro.
He created a $1 billion word. I'm sorry, that's what all this movie did for the world.
He read it off the script, Joe. That's how movies.
Jim is also dressed like Lloyd Christmas for the prom, and Natasha Lyonne is cool. That's my last minute. And Stifler's mom must not care about insurance for letting those kids have that party at that house.
Oh no, that house is definitely in the divorced husband's name. She don't give a fuck.
All right, but so does anyone else have any other things they want to say about this movie?
Oh, I wanted to shout out one of the background actors is James DeBello from a much better teen comedy, Detroit Rock City. He plays Trip.
Yes, Trip.
He's also real quick. He pops up in Scary Movie 2. He's like the roommate.
Shit.
He's like the roommate of
the What's Up
Sean
thing?
Wayans.
Like the What's Up?
Yeah, he's the one.
No, they do the when he has the tattoo, the Ray, fuck me. It's the thing from
Freddy vs. Jason,
car.
right?
Fuck me.
Huh?
Freddy vs. Jason.
No, different guy. Different guy.
All right, tangent. Super
right?
tangent.
I'm sorry. Anyone else? You guys good? Yusuf, lead us off.
I'm looking through. I don't see anything.
Let's go to the ratings phase.
All right, Brian, you give us your ratings since I think you should go first.
Who, me?
Yeah.
You said me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I give this like, I don't know, like a 3. Like it's mostly bad and badly acted too. Like it's not that funny. The people aren't that good in it. It's got that one good joke. I'm probably being a little too generous with 3, actually. This is a bad movie. I do not like it, and I will never watch it again.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm giving this movie a 7. Again, I saw this going into freshman year.
That's Detective Pikachu numbers. This is fucked up.
Hey, look, I love.
How are you measuring movies at this point?
I love the American Pie series. I think it's a good time capsule for what it was at the time. Hey, when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, and I was a freshman in high school, I talked about a lot of this bullshit with my friends. Can't even lie. It's very of its time. It's not a great film, but for me at the time, it hit me for what it was, and I think I enjoy all 4 of these films.
Me too, TJ.
I'm very bro-ish though, so I'll take it.
I already admitted it. I watched this entire franchise multiple times. When I was of that age, I did not want to revisit it. I really did want to leave it like in my nostalgia bank. after revisiting it, it's a flat 4 for me. Didn't laugh once. The acting is horrible. Natasha and Eugene are the only bright spots for me. Eugene is the best. And he's also
There's
very
so much
sweaty.
better content though with Natasha Lyonne and Eugene Levy out there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
go watch
for
Russian
sure.
Doll, go watch Schitt's Creek.
Shit's
You
Creek.
know,
Yes,
like,
yes, 100%.
Just and any Christopher Guest movie.
yeah. Oh my God. Actually, not any, because everybody always talks about Best in Show, and we all know that's great. Go watch Waiting for
I
Guffman.
was
Waiting
gonna
for
say, Waiting
Guffman
for
is
Guffman.
a
Oh,
fucking
the other
work
one,
of art. It's so good. It's one of those movies I can watch anytime.
what's the one the country
Wild-
music one?
Wild
Oh,
Heart.
Mighty Wind.
Mighty Wind.
I
Mighty
win.
Wind.
He
That's
said
my-
Wild
Mighty Wind
Heart.
is one of those things. I'm not into folk music, but especially if you like Spinal Tap, Mighty Wind is almost like
Is that Jeff
Mighty
Bridges?
Wind is so good.
Spinal Tap for like 50-year-old folk artists, and it's so
good.
funny and so good, and the songs are so fucking catchy. They'll be stuck with you.
I like Mighty
but yeah.
Wind.
4. I didn't
okay.
hate my time, but I was just staring at the screen.
I'm
Come on,
going
Joe.
right with TJ. I'm putting it at a 7 flutes.
Pikachu
Pikachu
means
is
nothing
spinning
to
in
you
his
too.
grave now. This is obscene.
Listen, I have my own ranking systems, and this one, I will be honest, this gets put on probably 11 o'clock at night. Can't sleep, don't want to think. Background noise.
Yep. Or 11 o'clock in the morning, the first cup of coffee. It's on TBS.
Yeah, it's like
Yusef,
maybe I'll watch
I
American
got a
Wedding.
project for you, my man.
Okay, I actually was going to say the same thing, Brian.
I want you to go back through our episodes, go through the rankings, and give it
Oh my
get
God.
some averages, and then put them together so we can see how different movies have averaged in their rank. Because I want to know.
Steph,
This is
Ryan.
ridiculous.
Steph,
That's an
Ryan,
Excel
we need
sheet.
a
That's a
statistician.
fucking Excel sheet.
We need a statistician. You're our man.
I guess it wouldn't be too hard to find.
Oh,
because it's going to last like 15 minutes of each episode.
Bullshit. This is what we're doing, right? New show on Flyover State of Film, Charting with Yusef. Go through every episode.
Whoa, dude, you can't give that kind of content away for free, dude. You got to put up a paywall before you do that.
OnlyFans. We're going to be
Alright, let's
launching
go
our
back.
OnlyFans, not
Let's go
Patreon.
back. So I got next, and I give up. I give up on my bit. I don't give a fuck about my bit anymore.
Well, you made it 6 months in. That's pretty good.
I give up. I give up. And
You
we're
did like
watching fucking
you did
Twister.
3
We're watching
movies, right?
Twister. We're watching
Twister?
we're watching Twister.
I feel like that's a flyover classic.
Oh, man,
Oh,
Yusef.
man.
I was so scared you were going to pick something very.
The extreme. We're going to the
I'm so
extreme.
glad we're not watching
We're
like
watching
the
cows
original
in the air.
Scarface.
We're watching
You know,
cows in the
everybody
air.
was like, "Oh, dude, Twister's on Netflix," and I was like, "What?" As I dusted off my Blu-ray, I was like, "Huh?" It's like, oh
Welcome
yeah,
to
thank
the
goodness I
suck
haven't seen
You
that
actually-
movie in years.
You actually pulled out the VHS next to your Titanic VHS.
Oh, I have had Twister in
Yeah,
VHS,
everyone-
DVD, and now Blu-ray
Yeah,
formats.
man.
I've
Actually,
owned
have it in
Twister,
VHS also.
and the Twister soundtrack fucking slaps. It's like
Oh.
it's like half a Van Halen
It's
CD.
Halen, yeah,
It
yeah.
rules.
Everyone's VHS went Titanic, then Twister.
Yeah,
It really,
that's right.
Independence Day. Independence
So
Day's there,
guys,
too.
get ready
Alright.
for Twister. Get ready for get sucked up in a
Ready for
tornado.
the extreme.
So
Alright.
where can the people find you, Brian?
Oh man, you can find me on Twitter, losing followers left and right, at Hercules. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Steph, our fan, who did that amazing drawing of me as a dog, who made my wife laugh out loud. So of all the commissioned fan art I've had made of me, I think that's my new favorite.
I'm still waiting for my pug drawing, but that's TJ. Where can the people find you?
You guys are on Flyover to the Film YouTube right now. You can find me on Twitter at TJDex. Guys, check out our recent 50th anniversary episode that we did. We have a special 50th anniversary of
Can
Planet
you
of
believe
the
it's been
Apes.
50 years, guys? Crazy.
50 years.
50th episode with the 50th anniversary of Planet of
friends.
the Apes with Yusef and Brian. And then when this comes out, we'll also have our recent episode of Little Ninjas that me and Joe did. We call it the Dum Dum episode of Flyover
Yeah, go watch that Planet of the Apes episode. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of
Yeah.
Go watch Little
Go
Ninjas.
Yo.
watch Little Ninjas.
Joe, I miss you. Where can the people find you? I want to find you.
Man, you can find me on Twitter at Shindangle1. Using the usual tweets, trying to still thread in movie tweets even now. just because like everything's terrible.
That is terrible.
We have like you guys said, we have a lot of content coming up. And I think it should be time soon for Brian and I to do a flyby. So,
Ooh, and do we want to tease? We
so.
talked about it. You want to tease it?
you tease it.
I mean, I don't know. You want to
That's
draw
enough of a
first
tease.
blood?
Oh.
Oh.
Just the cheek.
They're gonna
All
talk
right.
about menstrual cycles. All right,
All
guys.
right.
Donate if you can, protest if you can. whylovemovies.com. Peace out.